Okay guys, today I've got a bit of a rant, but a super important one for all business owners who are looking to get more clients. Because recently I've had a couple of conversations with potential clients of ours, even some clients of ours, and there's one number that consistently comes up that people don't understand, don't know how to track, but is arguably the most important metric in any business. Now, the metric that I'm referring to is something that we call CAC, Client Acquisition Cost. Ultimately, what this means is how much does it cost you to acquire a new customer? A lot of people might hear me say that and go like, well, it doesn't cost me anything to acquire a new customer. Like, I don't run ads, I don't spend money on things, I'm not spending money to get customers. They just come to me and I can grow my business, right? And if you are getting referrals at the moment or there's word of mouth, fantastic. Your CAC, there probably is some, but it's normally pretty low if you're doing that. I'm talking more so to the business owners who proactively want to grow their business, meaning that you are running some sort of client acquisition method, whether that's paid advertisement, cold outbound, you've got sales team, whatever that might be, people who are proactively trying to get more customers into their business to grow it. Time and time again, what we find is like we have conversations with potential clients or even these clients that come on board, and we want to establish what their current CAC is. I would say like 90% of the time, people don't know. If your business is fairly new, that's understandable, right? Or if you're new into business. But as you start to grow your business, you want to scale up, you want to get more customers on board, it's such an important metric to understand and track so that you know whether you can push harder or whether you need to change things. First thing, how do we work out our CAC? Well, the equation for it is fairly straightforward. Ultimately, it's all of the money that you've spent this month to go and try to acquire new customers. So what would this include? This would be any ad cost. Okay, obviously we run a lot of paid advertisements, so that's going to be the center focus of what we're looking at, but it's going to be like that money that you put into ad spend. It might be salaries of salespeople. It could be commissions of those salespeople. There could be softwares involved in there, such as things like Go High Level or tracking software on the back end. Everything that goes into actually trying to get that new customer, you need to lump into your cost. That's the first piece. And then all you do is divide that number by the number of clients that you've acquired in the same period. For example, nice simple maths for everyone on this video, okay? Let's say that in the course of a month, we spent £5,000 on like ad spend, and there's some commission in there and other bits and pieces. We spent £5,000 to try and acquire a customer. And in that month, we brought on 5 new customers. Very simple, 5,000 divided by 5 equals 1,000. So it means for every £1,000 that we spend, we acquire 1 customer. Why is this important? Like, why should I care about how much money that costs to get a new customer? As I say, we run ads for people. We run a lot of ads for ourselves. We run a lot of ads for businesses, other agencies, and the businesses that don't know the CAC are simply guessing when it comes to ad spend. Give you a conversation that I had literally the other day. Client comes on board. We set everything up for them, we build them, we get ads running. Now, obviously, when we're getting the ads running, we're going into a learning phase to begin with. We're trying lots of different messaging angles, creative styles, etc. And they have spent about 400 to 500 quid within about sort of like 2 weeks of their campaign. Now, leads are coming in, we're booking calls, etc. But they're starting to get itchy feet, right? And they come to me and say, look, we haven't actually signed any new customers at the moment. Like, I'm a little bit worried. Like, is it working? I don't really know. And the first thing that I say is, well, before running these ads, what was your CAC? And the answer was, well, I don't really know what that is, and therefore I've got no idea. Now, the problem with that is like there is no benchmark. So to say, are these ads working for you or not working for you is very difficult because we don't know what you're acquiring customers for at the moment. Now, let's imagine that scenario is slightly different. And that client comes back and says, well, our normal CAC is £1,000. And I'm quite happy with that because the service that we sell is £5,000. So I know, like, we've spent 400-500 quid and your normal CAC is £1,000. That means that we've kind of got margin there to still be within where you would normally be and where you would be happy with that CAC. Whereas if the client had said to me, well, we normally acquire customers for £100, we can quite quickly see, well, we're actually way above what that CAC should be. And if the thing they were selling was £500, so they would spend 100 and get 500 back. Obviously, if you then start to acquire customers for 500, you're in a very bad spot. And this is why CAC is so important, to understand what you can spend and what is kind of like too much money really affects the decisions that you're going to make around your ads, your scaling, your budgets, so on. And that kind of leads me into the next point. Lots of people say to me like, well, what can I expect from the ad? How much is a lead going to cost me? And ultimately, your cost per lead doesn't really matter, because what we're optimizing for is the CAC. If we were looking again at like a product or a service that was £5,000, we can then have a target CAC that we're aiming for of probably sub £1,000. But when you start to run ads, obviously, like, we're testing a lot of things. So it's going to be different creatives, different formats, mainly different messaging angles. And testing is, well, it's quite simply what it says on the tin, right? We are testing different things to see what is going to resonate with your audience best and convert best. At this stage, I'm not bothered about the cost per lead, as long as we can hit the target CAC. And when we're testing, what I typically say is you want to budget 2 times your CAC as a testing budget. So if you're aiming to acquire a customer for £1,000, I want to know I've got £2,000 to kind of test with, because we need to figure some stuff out before we can try and rein the CAC back down. Once you've been running ads for a little bit, you'll be able to get fairly consistent results across the board. Your cost per lead will start to settle down. Obviously, it's always going to fluctuate, but it's going to kind of be within a comfortable bracket. Your cost per appointment and your cost per qualified appointment are all going to kind of like even out. And as long as your sales process and sales ability stays fairly consistent across the board, you're going to convert those calls at a stable percentage. To say that you close 30% of the calls that show up and are qualified, your CAC will then start to even out. And again, as long as that CAC is within that comfortable bracket, that now tells us that we can then start to scale the advertising. If a client pays you £5,000 and you're acquiring a customer for £1,000 and you've been spending £5,000 a month on your ads, therefore you're getting 5 new clients every month, and those metrics are consistent across the board, that would be the time that we then put more into the ad spend, because we know that CAC is fairly comfortable and consistent around £1,000. And as long as nothing else breaks, we can keep the lead volume the same, we can book those leads into calls, qualify them properly, and nothing changes on that sales process side. That's how we can kind of like hockey stick the business's growth, because we've now got a machine where you put £1,000 in and get £5,000 back. But none of this is really possible until we understand that CAC number. So if you don't know it at the moment, go and figure it out. Go and look over the last like 3 months, break that down like month by month, and see how much did we spend to try and get a new customer, how many customers did we actually bring in, divide the number that you've spent by the number of clients that you've actually brought through the door, and that number is your CAC. The way that we do this is we track it all on like a sales spreadsheet. So all of the booked calls go in there, and there's lots of formulas and stuff that work out all of our numbers in terms of like show up rate, close rate, call to offer rate, offer to close rate, CAC, cost per qualified appointment, so on and so forth, right? It's all in that sheet. And then all we need to do is plug in what we've spent on ads, and then it will kick out that CAC number, and that can just track it on a weekly and monthly basis. That kind of dashboard is what you need in your business if you're trying to scale up, get more customers, spend more money on ads. If you haven't and you don't know that number, you're almost guessing. You're kind of flying blind. There's nothing to aim for. And equally, that's why ads feel expensive. This client that come to me and said, well, we've already spent £400-500 and we haven't closed a deal yet. The reason he probably feels uncomfortable at the moment, he hasn't got that CAC number, that metric to compare it against. And what we did was obviously we dug into the numbers, we figured it out for him, and then he was like, oh, actually, we're more than fine. We've got loads of room. But if you're running ads and you're looking at the numbers and you feel that discomfort because you don't know whether it's working or not working, you don't know whether to like push on with what you're doing or pivot the ads to change to something else, that will probably go away if you have that number to aim for. So as I say, go and look at how much you spent, how many clients you've signed, work out that CAC number, and then when you go back and look at your ads, you can go, oh, like we're aiming for this number, or this is what CAC actually is, and we've only spent this much money, therefore we're fine. Or you see that you're like way over it, the ads are not working, and then you can go and make plenty of changes. So I hope that's been useful. It's a bit of a rant because I hear this so many times, but your business is going to get significantly better if you understand this number and you actually are tracking it and you've got it live in your business. And if you need some help with this, obviously there's a link in the description. You can book a call with myself and we can have a conversation about helping you with this and grow your business. If not, but this has been useful, then subscribe to the channel because I'm putting out more content like this to help you get more customers, make more money, and generally grow the business. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.